Hi everyone, this is Andy with the We Are Big YouTube show. Got our first week preview this week. We got 11 games over the next 4 days, so super excited. Holiday week, and it's filled with football. We'll break down every game here, give you some predictions, some betting tidbits, and also go over the keys to each game. So let's get started. Before we get into a game-by-game prediction for Week 1 in the Big Ten, let's rank the top 3 games of the slate for this week. Number 3, I'm going to go with the Buffalo-Wisconsin matchup. I'm interested to see how Luke Fickell and the Wisconsin Badgers do without defense coordinator Jim Leonhard, and see how that team adapts to an entirely new style of play. Number 2, I'm going to go with Penn State hosting West Virginia, just because of the atmosphere. It's going to be a night game at Beaver Stadium, which, is famous for the whiteout. It's going to be essentially a whiteout light, if you want to say that, with it being a helmet stripe game. It's going to be a crazy atmosphere. Also going to that game, so won't rank it number 1, but I am very excited for that atmosphere, and as always, that atmosphere always delivers. Number 1 top game of the Week 1 slate, I'm actually going to go with the Thursday game where Nebraska visits Minnesota. Matt Rule's first game. Minnesota, coming off another strong season with PJ Fleck. It should be a pretty good matchup between both teams there, the West rivals, and who gets their season started off best. It's the first conference game of the year. Who starts 1-0 in the conference and gets a leg up to start the season? So there you have it, my top 3 games of Week 1. Number 3, we're going to go with Wisconsin against Buffalo. Number 2, Penn State versus West Virginia. And number 1, Nebraska versus Minnesota. All right, Week 1 gets kicked off on a Thursday when Nebraska visits Minnesota. Minnesota's announced that it is a sellout, so that's going to be really exciting, a great atmosphere, a primetime game at 8 p.m. ESPN currently gives Minnesota a 67% chance to win this game. Key to this game is going to be, can Nebraska hold up against Minnesota's physical rushing attack? The Minnesota did lose Mo Ibrahim and Trey Potts, but they're very confident in Sean Tyler and Darius Taylor to take over the reins at that position. If Nebraska can kind of wrangle in Minnesota's rushing attack, they have a chance in this game, but it's going to be very difficult because we know Minnesota always brings one of the bigger offensive lines in the Big Ten to the table. Right now, the spread is Minnesota -7. Prediction for this game, I think it'll be close to begin, but then Minnesota's physicality will kind of take over. I think Minnesota wins by 10, so I'm going to take Minnesota -7 in this game. Next, we have the Friday night game where Central Michigan visits Michigan State. ESPN has Michigan State as an 88% chance of winning this game. Looking at this game, things I'm really looking for. Michigan State should handle the Central Michigan team here. It's going to be really interesting to see if Michigan State, who they go with at quarterback. They kind of have 3 guys they're really kind of interested in seeing: Caton Hauser, Noah Kim, and Sam Levitt, the freshman. They feel confident in all 3, so it's really going to see how the reps break out and who kind of shows out. Michigan State did lose the starting quarterback, Peyton Thorne, and their starting receiver in the transfer portal, so a lot of turnover on the offensive side of the ball. As always, under Mel Tucker, the defense is always a point of contention. It'll be refreshing to see if they can slow down Central Michigan and, really show that, they're the better team there. Michigan State is a 14-point favorite in this game. I think in this game, you're probably looking at Michigan State by 17. So I'll take Michigan State minus the 14 points in this matchup. Now we finally get to the bulk of the Saturday games here. We'll start with the Michigan-East Carolina game. This game is at Michigan. Interesting kind of thing about this game, Jim Harbaugh is suspended, and so is offensive coordinator Moore. He will also miss the game. So it's going to be interesting to see how everything unfolds there. But Michigan's returning so much on offense and defense that it really won't matter. Things I'm looking for in this game is, can J.J. McCarthy, improve, not make the big mistake? He was very prone in big games to throw an interception. Can he protect the ball? We know he can throw the ball. We know he's very accurate, but can he avoid the big mistake against a inferior team? And basically, Michigan just wants to stay healthy in this matchup. The spread in this game is Michigan by 36 points. If you look at the matchup, it favors Michigan across the board. It depends on how much of a statement Michigan wants to make. 36 points is a big spread, but I think Michigan will cover that and win by an excessive amount and cover that 36 points. All right, let's head over to Iowa, where they will host Utah State on Saturday at noon. ESPN gives the Hawkeyes a 91% chance to win this game. If you're looking at Iowa this year, you're really interested in see Cade McNamara, who transferred over from Michigan, see if he can reinvigorate the passing game over here in Iowa. Going to be really interesting to see if he's healthy or not. There's been some rumors circulating about his health, if he's 100% or not. Basically, in this game, you're just looking to see if Iowa can be competent on offense, especially against an inferior opponent in Utah State. We know the defense is always going to be good for Iowa, but can they become balanced on the offensive side and actually help that defense out? If you're looking at the spread in this game, Iowa is a 24-point favorite. Just not trusting that Iowa offense or offensive staff over there. I would actually lean Iowa to win this game, but Utah State to cover the 24 points in this matchup. The next game we should look at here will be the Purdue-Fresno State game. ESPN gives Purdue a 74% chance in this game to beat Fresno State. Purdue's going to be a new look, after surprising last year and winning the Big Ten West. They got a new head coach with Ryan Walters, new quarterback. It's going to be very interesting to see what Purdue looks like. Kind of rough start to the season, as Fresno State's a very solid group of 5 team out of the Mountain West. It's not going to be easy for Purdue. What I'm looking for in this game is, how does this team evolve and come back from last season? Losing Aiden O'Connell and now having Hudson Card. Can he deliver some of the same results? And then can Ryan Walters transform that defense into one that was like Illinois last year, where he came from? The spread in this game is Purdue favored by 3.5. A small spread there, but these two teams are going to be pretty equal with all the turnover at Purdue. Matchups kind of favor Purdue in a couple, but Fresno State, like I said, very, very solid team. Purdue, I will take in this game to win. I think they win by 7, so I'll take Purdue minus 3.5. Next up, let's move to the 3:30 slot, where we have a conference game between Ohio State and they visit Indiana Hoosiers. Ohio State named their starting quarterback finally. Kyle McCord will be the starter, but it sounds like both quarterbacks will play. Ohio State is a 97% chance of winning this game, according to ESPN. Key to this game, if Indiana wants to have a chance in this game, they're going to have to create turnovers with an inexperienced quarterback and an offensive line that's being questioned early in the season. Ohio State lost both tackles. Reports out of camp is it's not the strongest position group right now. And then you have Kyle McCord and Devin Brown, which don't have a ton of playing experience either. So the key in this game will be, can Ohio State protect the ball with the new quarterbacks, and maybe they've leaned on that running game and get those quarterbacks comfortable. The only chance Indiana has in this game is to create turnovers and win the turnover battle by a couple. Ohio State is favored by 30 in this game. Ohio State's just too talented in my view of this matchup. I believe Ohio State wins by 35 in this game and covers the 30 points. Indiana's just not a strong football team. And Tom Allen's going to probably find himself on the hot seat during this season. So give me Ohio State minus 30. Next up, let's go to the Wisconsin game where they will host Buffalo, another MAC school visiting a Big Ten school. ESPN gives Wisconsin a 91% chance to win this game. Keys in this game, we're going to have a completely new look defense here with Luke Fickell coming in and losing the defensive coordinator Jim Leonard there. Does Wisconsin keep that standard of defense up under the new regime? I'm going to be very interested to see that. Also, they're breaking a new quarterback with Tanner Mordecai, experience out of SMU, but coming up, new system for him as well. Does Wisconsin have the personnel to run Luke Fickell's system? Super run heavy team before. Now they're going to look to spread it out and open it up. Do they have the personnel to do that? I know a lot of people are on the Wisconsin and Luke Fickell bandwagon this year. I'm not there yet. I think they'll be good, but I just don't trust it yet until I see it with them, just because there's been so many changes, and I really think that the loss of Jim Leonard, the defensive coordinator, is kind of being overlooked some here. In this game, Wisconsin is a 28-point favorite. I think Wisconsin wins this game pretty easily, but I will take Buffalo plus the 28 points, as I don't think Wisconsin can win by 4 touchdowns against Buffalo. And so that's what I have for this matchup. So let's move to the Maryland game where they will host an FCS school in Towson. No betting lines in this game. FCS school against a Big Ten school. Maryland has very high expectations this year. I mean, you could really look at their schedule and see them being 5-0 to start the year. Key to this game is just going to be health and seeing if that offensive line can improve and protect Tagovailoa there. He's going to have a really good season this year as one of the top quarterbacks in the Big Ten. But Maryland's basically looking just to stay healthy. We know Maryland can really show up in the early season against these inferior opponents and put up really big numbers. But it's going to be really good for them to get this start because, like I said, they have a really realistic chance of going 5-0 and being ranked before they get to the bulk of their schedule. So key for this game, just Maryland, just stay healthy. It's going to be a blowout. There's no betting lines on this game, but if you're a Maryland fan, it's a nice, easy Saturday. You get to see probably a lot of players play, a lot of underclassmen, a lot of the backups play, and you're really just hoping that you get out of this game healthy and see some improvement on that offensive line. Let's move on to one of the 2 night games in the Big Ten Conference for Week 1. Illinois will host Toledo. ESPN gives Illinois a 75% chance to win this game according to their metrics. Illinois, I mean, keys to this game, they got a new quarterback, Luke Altmaier, going to be looking to expand that passing game because we know they can run the ball. We know they have the offensive line, but can they become balanced with Luke Altmaier at the helm? Another thing to look for in this game against a MAC opponent is how the defense responds to losing Ryan Walters as the defensive coordinator. Can that defense be as good as it was last year? In my mind, last year Illinois was kind of Michigan light, not as good, but very same strategies. We're going to control the ball, we're going to run the ball, we're going to play good defense, we're not going to turn the ball over, which makes Illinois very hard to beat. Spread in this game is Illinois minus 9.5. I'm going to take Illinois minus 9.5 as I think they win this game by 14 over Toledo and get a good start to this season. All right, and for the second night game of the Week 1 schedule, we have Penn State hosting West Virginia. A nice little out-of-conference Power 5 matchup here. Kind of the marquee game, if you will. NBC, prime time, under lights. They're doing a helmet stripe game, so it's pretty much it's pretty much a whiteout. This game, as ESPN has Penn State as an 88% chance to win this game, so heavily favored. If you're a Penn State fan, I mean, this game, it's all about Drew Aller. and you're looking to see if he can connect with some playmakers on the outside. It's the Drew Aller show. Can Penn State get going through the air? We know the defense will be nasty there. As West Virginia comes in as kind of the under-talented team. We know the defense should dominate, but we're really looking for, can Drew Aller live up to the hype, essentially, and can the receivers help him? You got Keandre Lambert-Smith returning. But besides that, it's a lot of unknowns behind him at the wide receiver positions. Does Penn State incorporate their loaded tight end room here and, really give Drew the security blankets? Do they get Singleton and Katron Allen invested in the passing game as well, as they weren't really involved in the passing game last season as freshmen? Offensive line, does that live up to the hype as well? It's viewed as one of the better offensive lines under James Franklin. So a lot of questions, and mainly focused around, the 5-star quarterback that's finally getting the start after Sean Clifford leaves. Penn State in this game is a 20.5-point favorite. I will take Penn State minus 20.5, as I think they're explosive enough, especially with the two running backs, the two-headed monster with Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen, especially if Penn State really gets them started in the passing game as well. It's going to be interesting to see how that passing game evolves, because you don't have the Jahan Dotson or the Mitchell Tinsley. You don't have that really stud, is KLS that guy, or is it Wallace, or is it Omari Evans? Who steps up on the outside to really give Penn State that deep threat? Like I said, this is kind of the marquee game for the Big Ten. There'll be a lot of eyes on it. Penn State can really, get ahead with the voters, and make a good impression to start the season. They're ranked 7th in the country. They really need to show it in this game, so there's no doubt that they, are contenders for the playoff this season. So with that, like I said, I'm going to take Penn State minus the 20.5. And I'm really looking at them, opening this game up, and winning by 31. So there's my prediction for the Penn State game. Last and not least on the week 1 slate in the Big Ten, we have Northwestern visiting Rutgers on CBS, part of the new TV contract there. ESPN has Northwestern as a slight favorite to win this game, and the books actually have Rutgers minus 6.5. Key to this game is, can Rutgers actually get something going offensively with Gavin Wimsatt or the rushing attack? That's really where Rutgers has struggled. They've struggled offensive and defensively, but if they get an offensive getting their offense going, it'd really help them in this matchup against Northwestern, who, are they taking, Northwestern versus the world after Pat Fitzgerald's been fired? Or have they, kind of cashed in this season? It's going to be very, interesting for this game. It's going to be the only Sunday game on. And it's, like I said, on CBS. So there's going to be a lot of eyes on this game because everybody loves football. Northwestern versus Rutgers, not exactly your favorite matchup, but it is what it is. But to round out the week 1 schedule, I will take Rutgers minus 6.5. And I predict Rutgers will win this by 7, so just barely covering that 6.5. But it'll be an interesting game, and like I said, hopefully Rutgers can find a little bit of offense. This will probably be a low-scoring game, as like I said, neither team is really offensively talented or good at offense. So yeah, we will take Rutgers minus 6.5 in this game. So there you have it, our week 1 predictions in the Big Ten. Just to recap, we're going to go Minnesota minus 7, Michigan State minus 14, Michigan minus 36, Utah State plus 24, Purdue minus 3.5, Ohio State minus 30, Buffalo plus 28, Maryland, there's no lines, but expect them to win pretty big, Illinois minus 9.5, Penn State minus 20.5, and Rutgers minus 6.5. Should be a great week to get the season kicked off with a lot of good matchups in the Big Ten. get to learn about all the teams and see where we're looking heading into week 2. Excited to get the season started, and thank you for watching.